Hello and welcome. I am the Sterling and today we'll be playing Anno 1800. So sit back, grab a cold one and let's get started. So first off in today's episode, don't expect me to make any promises. Seriously, every time I make a bloody promise in an episode lately, I fall short. So no promises. Let's just play the game and see where it takes us. For instance, a few episodes ago, I promised to spend the whole episode here in New Cairns building it up. And what do? Spent the whole episode in Sassenberg. Then, in another episode, I promised to do this big thing here in Sassenberg, and guess what? Spent the whole time in Sassenberg. And then finally, in the last episode, I promised to spend the whole episode here building up the other half of Sassenberg's population, and as you guessed it, I spent the whole bloody thing over in New Cairns. So, I'm no promises. Not making promises. But if I had to come close to making a promise, and I'm not making a promise, this is not a promise, just putting it out there. I plan to perhaps maybe build up the population here on New Victoria. But that's not a promise. I am not making a promise. Just want to really cement that. Just confirming with yous. No promises. But yes, I do plan to build up New Victoria. But we're going to start off over here in Sassenberg because we have a couple of issues. The first one being we're not producing enough gold ash. Why? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if it's that we're not producing enough red peppers or what. So that's the first thing I'm going to have to work out. Second, we're not making enough steel because I'm just still not getting enough iron. Now, in the last episode, I'd only just added another couple of ships to our trade routes that are bringing iron ore here to Sassenberg. So maybe given the time, it will fix itself. But I might also have to start looking for more iron. I am producing quite a lot and I'm using a lot, but it's still not enough. I also might need to start thinking about upgrading my timber production. So, as I was saying in the last episode, all the wood comes to Sassenberg and then the wood is turned into timber planks and then sent off to wherever it needs to be done. But it's all produced here in Sassenberg. So everything's sent off to the New World and everything here in Cape Trelarney is built on everything produced here in Sassenberg. And so I'm just not producing enough. So we really need to get on top of that. It's not like we're short for room here on Sassenberg. We've got plenty of room here at the moment to be pushing out production. So I'm not too concerned, but I'm doing a lot of sitting and waiting around, which is not good. I want to speed things up. We've got an entire metropolis to be building here. So after having a look at the kitchens, and they are what produce gold ash, they're all running at 200%. So they're not lacking material. So the problem has to be further down the chain. As I'm fixing the problems on Sassenberg, I'm just going to keep popping back here to New Victoria once in a while when I get a delivery, and I'll just upgrade some of the buildings here. That way, I can slowly build this throughout the episode, and then I can fix the problems back in Cape Trelarney. But I also need to start building production here on New Victoria to start fulfilling the needs of the population. So that's what I'm going to do now. Done. Now that should keep us out of trouble for a moment. Now I'm just going to pop back over to Sassenberg and continue with what I was doing over there. So I'm barely getting enough oil here on Sassenberg to be able to run all the oil power plants here. So I need to start bringing in oil from other places. So over here on Port Arthur, there's 7 oil springs. I'm going to start mining them and then shipping the oil from Port Arthur over to Sassenberg. I'm in the process as we speak of producing the oil tankers. So it's just a matter of building the oil refineries here. Perfect. It's a shame I couldn't utilize all 7 springs, but 6 will do the trick. And now once the oil tankers are built, I'll create a trade route. Then hopefully that will be plenty of oil for Sassenberg. So there we go. I've solved the first problem in Sassenberg. It turns out when I did the math for all the red peppers and the kitchens and such, I made a mistake. So yes, I had the correct number of canneries. I needed 7. There's our 7 right there. That was correct. But this is where I made the mistake. For some odd reason, I only put in 5 kitchens. Turns out I needed 10 kitchens. So once I did that, it turned out I was short on beef, so I've had to add 2 cattle farms. But then it meant I was short on red pepper farms, so I've added 9 red pepper farms over here. Now, that hopefully will fix the problem. Though in the meantime, I've noticed a new problem occasionally popping up. We keep running out of fur. I'm thinking the reason for this is that in the past, I keep running out of cloth. So I haven't noticed that we're running out of fur because we're running out of cloth before we run out of fur. But now we're getting a large supply of cloth coming in from the New World. Now we're running low on fur. So I might have to look into that next, whether that is I'm not creating enough fur or whether or not I'm just not getting it over here quick enough. I'll work that out and fix it up. But before I go into that, I need to fix our iron problem, because that is still a massive problem I'm having. With our resources on Southerly, we have a good time and a bad time. At the moment, we're having a good time, somewhat, because majority of our islands are full, especially on windows and concrete, because I don't use that much. So once that sort of maxes out on the other islands, we stop producing it here, which is good and bad. It's good because it gives us a moment to catch up. As you can see, we're slowly building up our resources here while I'm fluffing about, ignoring the fact that my other islands still need things to be built. Then I'll build on them and my levels will all drop again. But the bad news for that is, it's actually giving me a false reading on what we need and what we're producing, especially when it comes to iron. Iron went under the radar for such a long time, only because I wasn't producing ships and I wasn't producing iron beams because I was maxed out. I thought I had plenty of iron ore coming in, and it turned out, once I started building stuff, no, not even remotely close. And then, like I'm sitting here playing with farms, all that sort of stuff, not building things on our other islands. Our ships have now maxed out, as you can see, major issues with the routes, and those major issues is we can't drop the goods anywhere. So they're no longer picking up resources from Southerly. So then we look at it and go, oh, wow, we've got plenty of resources. And then you look at the other islands, you go, wow, we've got plenty of resources. No, we actually don't. We are running so low on so many things. And timber is one of them and iron is the other. And I need to get on top of this because we're starting to stall now. This is us stalling. We are going to slowly stop being able to produce things because I'm spending a lot of time just sitting waiting for resources. And a big chunk of that is actually waiting for resources in transit. So I need to get on top of these things. Okay, so when it comes to iron, I've had a look at all my islands. Here in Port Arthur, we are completely mining all the iron here and nothing's getting left behind. Have a look at that. Just while we're sitting here, I saw an issue. But anyway, and upgrade you again if I've got the resources. Yes. Okay. See, pays to sit here. Now, sorry, as I was saying, here on Port Arthur, we're mining everything and nothing's getting left behind. So everything is getting moved in transit. So that's good, but bad because same's going for Norton Bay. We are completely mining it and it's all getting shipped. Same as Wolsford. And then finally here in Southerly. So we are completely mining everything. Nothing is getting left behind. And that's a problem. Because now all we got left when you look around is these poxy little islands that I've got that only have one mine. And it's not really worth it to mine iron on one of these poxy islands and send it back. So our other options is we either come here to Peace Lake, owned by our ally, that has 2 iron deposits, and we attack her and take it off her. Or even we just buy all the seats over the next 3,000 years and buy it off her. Or we can come to our other ally's island and attack her and take her island. I don't particularly want to do either of those options. So then it leaves me finally with the last 2 options. I either start mining on these poxy little islands I've got and sending it back to Southerly, which will involve a mine, another trade route, and a commuter pier. All these things are going to cost money, which we've got plenty of money coming in, but I start doing silly little things like this and that money's going to drop pretty quick. Or the other option is I sadly start mining here on Sassenberg, because there's 9 iron deposits here. Now, once I start mining on Sassenberg, its attractiveness will drop. And when its attractiveness drops, the money I make for its attractiveness will also drop. So either way, I'm going to be losing money. It's just a matter of how I want to go about it. After quite a lot of thought, I've decided, yes, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and start building on Sassenberg. I don't want to build production on here, but I will build mines and things like that because there's plenty of resources to be had here, and so I may as well utilize them. So yes, we're going to mine here on Sassenberg, and hopefully it won't drop the attractiveness too much. That's why I'm going to do it mine by mine. I'll just build one mine, start shipping it over. If that's not enough, I'll build another one, ship it over, and so forth. That way I'm only mining what I truly have to mine. And there we go, done. That's our first iron mine here on Sassenberg. So now I'll just create a couple of ships, add them to a trade route, and start shipping the iron back. And there we go. So as you can see, I'm starting to produce a couple of ships. These 2 here are the cargo ships to go back and forth from Sassenberg to Sutherland. And this one over here will be my second oil tanker. There's my first. So now it's time to create the oil trade route. So it's going to come from Port Arthur and drop it off at Sutherland. So we'll just add the ship, the Kingfisher. It's going to load at Port Arthur and unload at Sutherland. Done. Now, with any luck, that solves our oil problem. So I've been going through the chain when it comes to our fur coats, and I've worked out that we're short on hunting cabins. We've got 8 here on Wolfsven, which is quite a few. But after doing the math, turns out I'm 20 short. 20 short. I had to laugh when I read that. I was like, serious? 20. I got 28 of them I need to build. So, that's what we're going to do. I guess Wolfsven is just going to be a hunting island. Like, that's all we're going to have here is hunting. It's when I have moments like this, when there's 28 hunting cabins, it really puts it in perspective of just how large the population is going to be on Sassenberg.
The people celebrate your leadership.
There we go. I've just built all 28 hunting cabins. Though 2 of them are questionable about their production. So I'm going to have to sit back and have a look and see if that's enough or if we are short. Hopefully there was a little bit of wiggle room in my math and then we don't have an issue. Hopefully I haven't rounded down, because if I have, we're buggered. But, hey, it'll work out. So, while we wait for things to level out a bit back in Cape Trelarney so I can judge what else needs to be done, let's build some more stuff here in New Victoria. So we'll start with upgrading the roads, eh? Perfect. Now let's do the buildings. Make them happy with a couple of chapels. And let's build as many homes as we can. Done. And now, population should start growing. We're now starting to run low on copper in Sutherland. So I've created 2 copper mines in Norton Bay. I'm just going to add copper to the trade route. Done. Now hopefully we can get on top of that quick smart. Sadly, the 1 iron mine here in Sassenberg was not enough. So I'm just going to quickly build another 2. Done. Now hopefully that's enough. But yeah, it didn't work out all that great the first time. So I suspect we'll have to build more. But that's all right. I've also built all the copper mines on the other islands. So if we continue to run low on copper in Sutherland, I'll also have to build copper mines here on Sassenberg. And here we go. We've got another newspaper. Ooh, we have a rum shortage. Oh, I didn't realize we were running low on rum in Sassenberg. That's not good. I'll have to get on top of that. But for the meantime, we're just going to put a little bit of propaganda in there. Yep, just like that. And no one will be the wiser.
Wonderful idea.
So I've been quite busy. I decided, I had to bite the bullet. And I've built every single iron mine and every single copper mine here on Sassenberg. And then once I did that, I started running low on zinc. So guess what? We've also built every single zinc mine here. And we're now shipping zinc from Sassenberg to Sutherland. So yeah, that got out of control real quick. But then a whole bunch of new problems started to occur. My workforce and my farmer workforce plummeted because now I've got all these new mines, etc., etc. So then I've had to start building more homes here on Norton Bay. As you can see, I've upgraded a few more to the workforce. But then I started running low on farmer workforce. So I've now also had to start building more farms here on Port Arthur. So it's that trickle-down effect. But you can't argue with the results. Have a look at that. Ignore all the blue because that means they're full of storage, but there's no red. So it looks like I've finally gotten on top of all my issues here in Sutherland, for the moment anyway. So that's great. Have a look at that. I've been very, very busy. So what I've been doing is building homes here, and then I've been upgrading them to the engineering level, and then moving them into the city here and popping them in wherever there's holes. So as you see, it's all been upgraded on this side. But we've got an issue. Arthur keeps coming over and dumping propaganda on our city, which is not working out well for us.
Catastrophic!
As you see, the propaganda is raising the chance of a riot. So this is how Arthur is attacking us back. So he keeps sending ships to Cape Trelarney in the New World. We keep destroying them. So he's left with only being able to attack us with propaganda. He's actually doing quite a successful job of it. So we're going to have to start hitting him back pretty hard soon. We're going to have to either buy up some of his islands, which, yes, that's going to cost us money because we'll no longer be receiving money from him off those islands. And then that means we're going to have to maintain more islands, and it's probably going to open up a whole new can of problems. But that might be one way we have to go about it. The other option is we just go over with our ships and kick his ass. Buying the islands means that we'll have new islands, more production, etc. Going in and destroying the islands with our ships, well, it'll take away him, but we won't be receiving anything out of it. So this is sort of the options that we're going to have to start thinking about in the future. At the moment, I just want to continue building up Sassenberg. I'm really enjoying it. So we have finally surpassed Arthur in the economy, but we are still lacking in military, which is quite surprising because when I have a look around, I feel I've got more ships than him. So I don't see how he could be surpassing us. But it's irrelevant. But now I think it's time for us to turn the tables on this war. Now, he has quite a few islands here in the old world. But when I look around, only one of them really has major defensive capabilities, which is this island here. All the other ones don't have much of a defense. What I could do is in Cape Trelarney, build a whole heap of ships, come over here, and lose a whole bunch of them up against all these cannons. Or I can build a whole bunch of ships back in Cape Trelarney, send them over to the other islands here in the old world that have bugger all defense, give them a good ass kicking. And then, with this island here, I can come up to the shares, which I own all of, and I can take over the island for a poxy 13 million, which we have 57 million just sitting there. So guess what? That's what we're going to do. We're going to take over this island. Because even if he comes and just attacks us and takes it back, this is a huge blow to him. But keep in mind, financially, this is going to be a blow to us too. We are earning 154,000k. But the moment we take over this island, that's a big chunk of our share income that will disappear. So we have to be prepared for that. I don't think it will be end all, but I do feel like we're going to feel the pinch a little bit. But it should knock him off his high horse a little bit. So let's do it. 13 million. Done.
Another player has had their island seized.
We have now acquired this island. As I feared, we have dropped our share income down from 150,000 to 116. But hey, that's not the end of the world. We are still earning good coin. And as we continue to build Sassenberg up, that's going to matter less and less. So I have a few options I can do over here. One, I can come over and start destroying the city. Or two, we can come over and rebuild it. I think what I might do is add this to our trade route, start sending building materials over here, and let's start repairing this city. Make it our own. And then we'll have an island in the old world, which we don't have a single one yet until now. So this is fantastic. And we'll have to rename it. So our harbour here is under attack. Ah, that's a shame. He took it back.
Island is under attack.
That's fine. But let's have a look at this. That's made quite an impact on him. Our economy is now significantly better than his. And it's even closed the gap a bit more on our military force. So this is good. And once I finish building the ships, I'm just going to come back and take this back off him anyway. And he's cleared all the rubbish for us, so we can just build straight on it. It's great news. And here we are, we're taking back the island in the old world. And then we can hold it, because these are our ships to live here. There's another 4 I'm producing back at Cape Trelarney and Suddenly. And then once they're built, I'll send them over here. Only because majority of his ships are here in the old world. So I figure having a larger fleet out here will be beneficial. Plus then I can split the fleet, send it out, and destroy a few of his ships while I'm at it. And hopefully then bring his military score down. So fantastic, there we go. We've got it back. Fantastic. So now I can go through and destroy all these roads, and I can start building on here. And we've got the capability to defend it. This is great. Now all I have to do is re-add it to the trade route. I can start getting building materials down here, and that will be it. What are they shooting at?
Ship under attack.
Another one of my ships is under attack. Ah.
Station.
4 hours in a row. Time to stretch your legs.
Let's get our ships out of the way, because these have building materials.
To coordinates.
And one less ship we have to worry about. Look at that. Fantastic. And there we go. I've just gone through and deleted all the roads and the rubbish off of this island. So now we have a nice clean canvas. I've been dropping off some materials off those 2 ships and then sent them on their way back to start doing the trade route. We also now have ships here in the port to protect it. So this is a great little start for us to start building here in the old world. Look at this. A couple of warships just plotting around. It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy being in here, going around smacking these ships out of the water, especially once they have a bigger fleet in here. With the amount of money that we're making, I might just keep building ship after ship after ship and just keep sending it in here till we've just got such a strong presence that we can just flog him. But let's see where we go with that. So I've finally come up with a name for our island in the old world. New Trelarney. I think that works. So where are we at? Well, over here in New Trelarney, we've started building up the town now. And we've got quite a nice little fleet down here protecting it. I'm more than confident that we can take on anything Artur throws at us over here in the old world. Now, over here in the new world, Artur just keeps sending ship after ship to attack our trade ships. And so I'm constantly coming back to the new world to pick off anything that he sends out here. It's actually getting quite annoying, to be honest. But where are we at here in New Cairns? Well, we've almost finished building our production of coffee. All our fields have been built and they are being attended. We're slowly just building up the population so then we can build the rest of the coffee roasters and then we'll be at max production with coffee, which that's what we're after. Now, as for New Victoria, it's coming along quite nicely. It's slowly building up. We do need to spend a bit more time over here. There is so much that I actually want to do over here in the new world. So in later episodes, we'll have to start getting over here and building up even more. But between New Cairns and New Victoria, I think we've come along quite nicely. We have now discovered an island out here in the Arctic, King William's Island. So in later episodes, we'll have to start now building in the Arctic. So this is great. We've got a new little island to start playing with. Not to mention, we should now start building out here in Embessa it's an interesting place to play and it's quite a bit of fun. And now that brings us all the way over to Sassenberg. Good news. Sassenberg is now running at full capacity, and the amount of spare labour we have over here in Cape Trelarney is ridiculous. Have a look at the top between our farmers all the way up to our engineers. It is awesome. So everything here is producing to the max, and we don't seem to be lacking on too much, which is good. Occasionally I have to build the odd building here or there, like the glass maker or something like that. But other than that, we're pretty much on point. So this is running really, really well. As you see over here in Port Arthur, we've been building quite a lot more homes to accommodate for the lack of farmers that we've needed for the other islands. Not to mention over here in Norton Bay, we've been upgrading the farmers' homes to workers' homes as needed, and we've now got an abundance of them, 337 spare, which that's good. We don't really need much more. And finally, brings us to what you've all been waiting for, Sassenberg. And you guessed it, we have now finished the other side of the population. Have a look at that. That's why we have such an abundance of workforce. This is awesome. We've now just got to fill in the gaps. So I'll build a little town over here and slowly upgrade homes from farmers all the way up to engineers or whatever it is I need to fill these gaps. But for the minute, have a look. That's fantastic. Now, there's a few other little bits and bobs I've been doing, such as on nearly every single island in nearly every single region, I've had to upgrade the ports on multiple sides, especially here on Sassenberg. As you can see, I've put in a lot of ports because the ships were starting to really bank up. I have a lot of ships now, transporting a lot of goods throughout multiple regions. And they all touch base here in Sassenberg at some point in their journey. Every single one of them touches in here somewhere. And the problem was we were having lines and lines of ships waiting to come and dock. And I think that was causing quite a few of the problems that I've been fiddling with. So I fixed it just by adding some more piers. And now I just got to keep my eye on that. I'm very happy with where we are today. See what happens when I don't make promises? Things seem to just happen. Not that I actually think it had anything to do with that. But nonetheless, we are definitely not finished here in Sassenberg. There is a lot we need to do. If you watch Sassenberg long enough, you'll see the occasional symbol pop up, like over here, for all our oil power plants. I am pulling oil from other islands at the moment, and it's still not enough. I have prioritized Sassenberg for oil, and then whatever Sassenberg doesn't use, Sassenberg gets. But unfortunately, it's still not enough. So I'm going to have to find oil elsewhere, which I think I'm going to start bringing it from the New World. But that's all going to have to be at a later date, in a later episode, because this is all the time I have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.